heiße Jerry, ich bin 17 Jahre alt und ich bin hier, um mit euch über ein persönliches Thema zu reden, das mir sehr, sehr am Herzen liegt. Okay, let me explain. My name is Jerry, I'm 17 years old, and I'm German. I absolutely love Apfelschorle and pretzels with butter. I'll complain all I want to about bad bread because what is life without good bread? And I'm sorry to have to tell you this. German bread is elite. It's the one thing we have. I've been to the Porsche Museum way too many times. And I have this bad habit of being quite direct that often comes off as rude or as throwing shade, whatever that means. Okay, now these are all exaggerations and stereotypes, so don't take my word for them. But my point still stands. I'm German. However, just a while ago, after we'd all come back from December break, we were sitting in art class, and we were talking about all the delicious foods we'd eaten over Christmas. Now my teacher, who's of German descent, said she makes these amazing Storn that her kids absolutely love. The other Germans in the class agreed, saying how much they love eating it, and that it's the highlight of their Christmas. Whereas I just sat there, looking around, wondering what in the world that was. I had no idea. I was immediately sent into a spiral. The same spiral I'm sent into when people ask me why I don't know a lot of German music, movies, TV shows. When people ask me why I don't speak German with my family. And when people ask why I didn't bring a dunder, Germany's national costume, to represent my culture. Here's why. I'm a CCK, a cross-cultural kid. A cross-cultural kid is somebody who has lived in or meaningfully interacted with 2 or more cultures for a significant period of time during their developmental years. This is a model put together by Ruth E. van Reken in 2002. And as one can see, there's very, very many ways to be a cross-cultural kid. I'm German. However, I'm also Kenyan. I have 2 Kenyan parents. This puts me in the child of immigrant category. These are people whose parents have made a permanent move to a country in which they were not originally citizens. My parents are also both Black, and we live in a predominantly white country. This also puts me in the child of a minority category. Like I said, there's very many ways to be a part of this, and I'm sure many of you in the audience are. And if not, I'm very sure you guys have friends or family members who are. Why does culture matter? Culture is a collection of habits and behaviors, but also shared values and beliefs that are learned by one's surroundings and passed on from generation to generation. They ground us and give us a sense of belonging and therefore confidence when we interact with the world around us. For CCKs, this is a bit different. Because the culture of our family and our environment, or ourselves and our surroundings, tend to be different, we often feel torn between our cultures, unsure which one to claim, or if we're even allowed to claim them. We often feel like we don't belong, and this means that we experience a sense of groundlessness. So, about me. I was born in Baltimore in the States, but immediately left with my mother to join my dad in Germany. That's where he'd studied and was working at the time. I lived there for the first couple years of my life, quite happily, I believe. I don't have particularly many memories. In that time, also both of my siblings were born, and yeah, I think it was quite okay. My dad, who lived in Germany for 28 years, faced a lot of racism. Due to that, he had lots of difficulties rising up in his profession. And that's how him and my mom made the decision that it was time to go back to our people. Now, both my parents already knew Kenya, so they decided to move to a different country in Africa. And that's how at the age of 6, I ended up in Johannesburg, South Africa. Now, I absolutely loved my time in South Africa. I related to my childhood. I attended the German school, which was filled with international students. So I basically went to school with a bunch of other CCKs. I'd spend my afternoons with my siblings, playing with the Barbies, or riding our bikes around the compound. Like I said, I absolutely loved my time there, and we'd planned to stay there permanently. But after my dad passed away of cancer in 2013, my mom made the very tough call that it was time for us to go back to Germany. Now, I was absolutely heartbroken to have to leave a place I'd built a life for myself that I was so happy in and had called my home. However, I understood why my mom made that decision, and I supported her in it as a 10-year-old. So that's where we've been for the last 7 years. Now, Germany has afforded my family and I certain privileges and opportunities that would have been a lot harder to get elsewhere, like cheap yet good education, safety, and stability. Like I said, totally grateful for all of these things. But I can't say that it's been easy in any way. I'd like to share some benefits and challenges that cross-cultural kids face. The first one seems probably rather obvious. It's that by interacting with different cultures from a young age, we internalize and learn different aspects of them. A very simple example is we grow up speaking multiple languages, often. Now, my parents are Kikuyu, which is the largest tribe in Kenya. So for the first years of my life, that's all I spoke. Eventually, I learned German in kindergarten, and over time, I also started speaking English fluently. In Germany, it's not very common to grow up trilingual, so I always felt quite unique and special because of it. Coming here has humbled me a bit in that sense. A directly related challenge, however, is that you never know enough of each culture. Because you're interacting with different cultures and different aspects of your life, and never one and all, there's always going to be someone who knows more than you. This tends to make CCKs very insecure in presence of their monocultural counterparts. Many CCKs tend to go into this phase of obsessing over one culture and totally shunning the other, trying to be a part of something that they're often pushed away from. I personally didn't really have that phase, but I had a time where I felt a need to protect my Kenyan side from people that wouldn't understand it. I was scared of judgment or that people would make it to all I am. I've grown out of this, and I do talk about Kenya now, but I'm still very sure that many of my friends don't even know where my parents are from, don't even know I'm Kenyan, and just chalk it up to me being African. Another benefit I'd like to share with you is that you have an expanded worldview. Now, this is not limited to CCKs, but it's a very common characteristic. Because we've interacted with two or more cultures, they influence our perspectives and how we see very many different things. This tends to make us very open-minded and have a stronger awareness of different cultures in our surroundings. This tends to also reflect within our friend groups. A direct related challenge, and this is the last one I'm going to be talking about, is navigating split loyalties. We've grown up understanding, seeing, and contrasting different perspectives, and therefore tend to understand multiple. This makes it quite confusing as to which one we should support. Kenya and Germany are very different, culturally, but also with their perspectives and priorities on many issues in the world. Depending on the side I might choose to support on one issue, one side will include me as an us, claiming me, and the other one might push me away, referring to me as a them. It's also a question of, do I want to support a country that does not support me? Let me explain. I'm from a country where I'm used to being asked by friends and strangers alike where I'm from. I'm from a country where I'm used to people, strangers, touching my hair without permission because it's so exotic. I'm from a country where I'm used to people singling me out of a larger group, asking me if I speak German, or just assuming I don't, and addressing me in English. I'm from a country where I'm used to being constantly looked weird at or even pointed at, often being the only black person present. I'm from a country where when speaking different languages, I'm constantly told to speak German because we're in Germany. I'm from a country where using the N-word in old songs and texts is justified. And I'm from a country where it's not safe for me to go into smaller towns, usually in Eastern Germany. I'm from a country that doesn't treat me, my family, and other people of color correctly. Is this a culture I want to claim, defend, be loyal to? Now, maybe you were surprised when I walked on stage and said I was German. Maybe you were surprised when I said I was Kenyan. It's a combination that tends to confuse people quite a lot. But let me tell you this. Black Europeans exist. We exist. In Germany, with a population of 80 million, it's estimated that there are 1 million black people. In France, with a population of 68 million, it's estimated that there are 3 to 5 million black people. In the Netherlands, with a population of 17 million, it's estimated that there are 700,000 black people. And in Norway, with a population of 5 million, it's estimated that there are 130,000 black people. Like I said, we exist. And I'm not whitewashed just because I don't fit your idea of what a black person should be like or where they should be from. I'm not American just because that's the only place you know black non-African people to be from. And I'm not biracial just because that's the only way you can connect blackness to being from a predominantly white country, being half Kenyan and half German. I'm fully black, fully Kenyan, and fully German. Thank you.